All right. I'm coming to you live from the set of the Rockford Files. It's a BBN. Where everything is connected, BBN is Black Bear News, of course. Oh, of course. Today I'm getting the phone interference. Jesus. I knew it. I knew it. Sorry. Sorry, calling people. This is going to be annoying. This always happens. What? Always happens when I post something that's obviously controversial, as far as my thumbnail or as far as the title. But how y'all doing? Got another interesting show today, I think, for you. Everybody, Rockfin people, I see you. Denver, hello. Osama, hello. Victory, hello. Hello. Gigabane, what's up? Max, okay. Gang's all here, or they're not all here. I posted this show early, and I don't know where everybody's at. God dang it. This is annoying. Anyway, so if you can tell, I'm a little bit wet. We got the first installation of the Atmospheric River Pineapple Express, whatever you want to call it, coming into California today. And it's been raining and raining and raining nonstop since, I don't know, last night sometime. And it's supposed to keep on going for a good part of the day. Anyways, this particular video is going to carry on, I guess, with the theme of what I've been talking about for the last few days. And this is a perfect, perfectly aligned news story. You know, this is what the thumbnail's about. Perfectly aligned news story that sums up the intersection of climate change and, you know, I don't really want to call it conspiracy theory, alternative news, whatever, you know, truth about, you know, what's really going on with the people in charge. And if you're a climate change person and you don't want to listen to this or you don't want to hear it, you're going to not know what's going on. You're going to be completely lost. And that's going to be to your detriment. You're not going to understand why it is the thumbs down on every Sabine video talking about climate change happens. You don't understand why people hate this so much. I'm going to explain to you why. Or one of the reasons why. One of the big reasons why is going to get covered in this show, and I'm going to have to exactly, Victory Gin, Ecocide has context. And if you don't understand the context, also climate change is a political issue. Whether you want to say it's, you know, it's just science or it's just happening and this is all theater and blah, 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 blah. It is a political issue, whether or not people, you know, why it is that people don't want to listen or don't understand or reject outright is a product of the manipulation of, you know, media and politics and all kinds of stuff, right? There's an intersection. Everything is connected. There's always an intersection of, you know, issues going on, right? So, and if you want to understand why we are totally screwed as far as trying to, communicate things to people, well, they're pretty much ensuring a nail in the coffin, and I almost think it might be on purpose, because you cannot be this tone deaf and clueless. Gene Whitworth says climate is the worst political football I've ever seen. It is. And if you want to know why they're not serious about climate change, it doesn't mean that it's not fake. I mean, or it doesn't mean that it's fake. Sorry, mixing up my things. Doesn't mean that it's fake. If you want to know, doesn't mean that it's a hoax. It doesn't mean that it's not real, is what I meant to say. If you want to know why they're not going to do anything about climate change, it's because of stuff like this. Anyways, I don't know if you guys heard the thunder and lightning. As I had the intro theme music playing, and I went inside to go get a jacket, and I don't know if you all heard, had a good little dose of thunder and lightning. Let's see. Osama, this is interesting. Some good news for Trump supporters and another trigger to enrage the self-inflicted TDS victim. This is from Newsweek. Newsweek. A second Trump term would be good news for the environment. Opinion. Wow. Wow. Yeah, and this is interesting that they're bringing up the Biden administration's stopping of future exports of liquid natural gas, pending a study. So they're actually claiming, this is a whole other news story we can get into. They're claiming that this is somehow for the environment, but it's obviously a political move. It seems like. Most people think it's targeted at Texas. Steve Austin had a good kind of take on it, being had a good take on this halting of the exports as being a consequence of peak oil. It could be several things going on, but they're saying this is bad for the environment. So I suppose if you believe that natural gas is a better choice for the environment, I guess you could, a Trump term would turn it back on, and I guess they're saying if you stop the export of natural gas, you're gonna the countries you export to are going to end up using dirtier fuel, coal and whatnot. Okay. Maybe we'll look at it. Well, okay, we'll look at it real quick right now, and then we'll go through some stories. But the story I've been alluding to, and I'm sorry if I didn't really explain it out loud, that John Podesta is being nominated as the climate czar to replace John Kerry. If you know anything about John Podesta, you know this is the most. I mean, this guy is a swamp creature extraordinaire, and not only that, his CV is filled with very unsavory things. I mean, this is just about as crazy as Trump appointing John Bolton as defense minister or whatever he was. I don't know what the title was, but he was his defense highest defense counsel. John Bolton. It's like appointing Henry Kissinger as your. It's kind of like it's like appointing Henry Kissinger as your climate envoy. This is one of the most hated people, for good reason, on the planet. You want people to listen to you on climate change, or you want people to automatically reject you? It's like they want people to automatically reject you. I mean, some people might not be clued in, and this is why I do the show, because for some climate change aware people, you're not clued into certain things that are going on politically and don't understand. I tweeted at Roger Hallam one time, retweeted a John Podesta, because John Podesta actually has been like a climate envoy already for the Biden administration. So he's already doing something, engaged in something regarding climate change for the Biden administration. And Roger Hallam retweeted John Podesta, and I tweeted at him, I was like, this is not the guy. Don't ever retweet John Podesta on anything. You don't want to be associated with this person. This is a bad person. This is like retweeting Henry Kissinger on anything, right? Like, nobody wants to hear from this person. A second Trump term would be good news for the environment. This is an opinion piece in Newsweek. There's no better proof of it than Friday's decision by the Biden administration to stop future exports of liquid natural gas pending a future study by the Department of Energy as justification for the cutoff. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm described the importance of protecting Americans against climate change and winning the clean energy future. Halting American exports of natural gas would result in greater worldwide use of coal, thereby increasing global CO2 emissions. Europe has already been turning to coal to deal with the energy shortages in the aftermath of Russia's cutoff of natural gas. Those concerned about carbon emissions should be fighting to reduce global emissions, which means avoiding the use of coal where possible. Equally important, Biden's ban on new gas exports would benefit America's enemies because prices are set on the basis of future production. Biden's action is bound to raise the prices of Russian and Qatari gas, bringing huge windfalls to hostile regimes. The export ban also benefits China, which is no friend of the environment. Over the past 16 years, U.S. emissions of CO2 have declined by 1 billion metric tons, as natural gas has been increasingly substituted for coal use in the generation of electricity. Over the same period, CO2 emissions in China have risen by 5 billion metric tons, et cetera, et cetera. So they're saying this is a hostile to the climate decision by the Biden administration. And, well, if you've been looking at it by the numbers, the Biden administration has done just about the same or worse on the environment than Trump, even though they're claiming to be, the party that understands climate change. And then when you appoint John Podesta as your climate czar, it kind of makes it look like you don't care. You want people to do anything but listen to what you have to say on climate change. Anyways. Denver says LNG is arguably worse for freshwater and aquifers. So it's all bad is what I have to say. I think arguing whether natural gas is better for the environment over coal, I mean, I guess, but it's all bad, and it's all powering industrial civilization, which is the thing that's powering climate change. And what you want to do is turn industrial civilization off. That's what you want to do, or at least turn it down a few notches. You don't want to keep it going. That's the misunderstanding about renewables, natural gas, anything that keeps industrial civilization growing and going is not helping climate change, right? So it doesn't matter what you fuel it with. It doesn't matter if the knob you turn is green or blue. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if there's a battery in it or a pipeline in it or a flame. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Geothermal is cleaner than any, Darlene says. Sure. Still, if geothermal is being used to power industrial civilization to the degree that it's being powered right now, still not going to help climate change. Yeah. Osama says, is natural gas really any better than coal? I don't really think so. All right, sorry, I've got Gigabane says geothermal over a long enough time is non-renewable. Cool the core equals no magnetic shield, geo exchange, solar power. Solar power and ever renewable. I don't really understand. I'm a little lost on that. Okay. Well, let's. Oh shoot. Dang it. Give me a second, guys. So I'm just going to kind of ramble while I do something I forgot to do. Did you anybody see the PBS? Gigabane says geo exchange and heat pumps are the same thing. The power comes from the sun, not the core. The Earth's core. Osama says, fun fact, using tidal power will drive the moon away from the Earth. What? Is that real? The moon is already escaping? Is that a real thing? Never heard that one. Is that true? Give me a sec, guys. Democracy on Trial, full documentary, Frontline. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about that too. Have you all seen that? There's basically talking about how it was a made-for-TV movie, how it was highly produced. Anyways, totally real. Hold on one second. Sorry, completely forgot that I had to do some things before I started the show, and now I'm doing them now. Let's see. All right, we'll get into this, and we'll. In order to actually talk about this John Podesta thing in total, to give you all the information you need to know, I'm going to have to leave YouTube. That's how crazy this appointment of John Podesta as or nomination of John Podesta as climate czar is. That's how insane this is. I'm going to have to leave YouTube in order to talk about him. All right. Poppy sent me this. The 7.5 magnitude earthquake in Japan on New Year's Day lifted parts of the Noda Peninsula up to 4 meters, leaving some ports dry and exposing 4.4 square kilometers of land along the coast. And that's where a lot of people are saying that there's a meltdown. Even though they're saying that officially, they're saying there was a. I know you guys are going to give me, Dana Dumford and all that stuff. I know. Officially, this is what they're saying. Repairs may take more than 6 months at Central Japan nuclear plant after the quake. The operator of the Shika nuclear power plant in central Japan's Ishikawa prefecture says it may take more than 6 months to finish repairing the damage caused by the massive New Year's Day earthquake. Hokuriku Electric Power Company has disclosed that the quake damaged transformers used to supply power to the plant from outside, and that 2 of the 5 power cables have become unusable. The plant's 2 reactors have been offline since 2011. Did you guys know that? The operator says electricity supply for the spent fuel pools, which is why they need it, the power, and other important facilities is secure. And as it has emergency diesel generators and power supply vehicles can be used even when the plant cannot receive electricity from the outside. The company also says larger than expected tremors hit the plant's foundation. But since the jolts lasted a relatively short cycle of 0.47 seconds, they didn't have a major impact on key structures, such as reactor containment vessels and reactor buildings. Well, did you know that these 2 some of you I'm sure knew. I didn't know. The plant's 2 reactors have been offline since 2011. So it's not even a working nuclear reactor, but they have to contain the spent fuel rods, right? Which is why it's so ridiculous for Sabine and anybody else to be like, let's build more nuclear. We have to build more nuclear. Why is that stupid? Because if you have an earthquake or a tsunami, they said that it was hit by 3 tsunami waves, but the seawall was high enough, I guess, that it wasn't affected by these tsunami waves. If you have a tsunami or an earthquake or a drought or a flood, there goes your nuclear power. And they're trying to contain the spent, the fuel. This thing isn't even on. And the same is going on in Southern California, San Onofre. The same thing is going on in a lot of places, right? You don't just turn it off. You actually have to decommission these things. And then what do you do with the fuel rods? You don't know what to do with the fuel rods. They can still melt down, even though you're not generating electricity. This is a huge burden on civilization in general. And I mean, it's just absolute madness that people suggest this. I can't take you seriously. Like, Sabine, okay, you're a really smart person, but I can't take you seriously anymore because you're too stupid to understand the implications of building more nuclear plants. Are you a shill, Sabine? Are you paid by the nuclear industry to promote nuclear power? You must be, because you're so stupid you can't fucking see the problem with this, and you're talking to people like you're a scientist, like you know shit, and maybe you do, but it doesn't matter. All that stuff you know about science doesn't mean one thing, because you're too stupid to understand how dangerous that is to build more nuclear plants while the planet's biosphere is collapsing. You are an idiot. And I'll probably never watch a Sabine video again because she is an idiot. She's a straight up idiot. And anybody else who pushes nuclear power is a straight up idiot. You're just I just don't understand. I don't know. Hansen pushes nuclear power, right? So maybe I'm just feeling really upset right now. I apologize. And I probably will watch another Sabine video. If one floats across my viewfinder and it's interesting, I'll probably watch it. But Jesus Christ, that's just idiotic. Does Hansen promote nuclear power? Is that true? How could you possibly do something like that? Meanwhile, we're oh, all of a sudden the rain has stopped. We had hours and hours of rain from this Pineapple Express moving into California, and the full evolution of Pineapple Express moving into California and the associated massive mid-latitude cyclone spinning off the west coast. I don't know if you all want to watch this. Does Hansen promote nuclear power? I don't know. Somebody said he did. I'm not sure. I don't know that I've ever read that. I just, what kind of like goofball la la land are you living in that you think that building nuclear power plants is a good idea? It's like you just assume there's just going to be people and resources and energy and things around to keep these things from melting down. You are a complete lunatic. Yee. Hold on one second. I just can't with this nuclear power thing. And even with the people that are like, well, as soon as we get, what is it called? Fusion. Oh, really? As soon as we get something that's not available to us yet. Again, maybe technology will save us all, and I'll be totally wrong. And I hope that I am wrong. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that I'm wrong. I don't see it. So this is what that's been coming towards California or in California right now. And kind of in the same vein, Steve Austin. Once you see how impossible it is to just decarbonize everything, you'll understand that keeping everything the same but electric will be impossible. Again, YouTube is blocking what? Comments? I mean, seriously, look at all the icons that represent all sectors that must be decarbonized. So, you have to decarbonize, everything, right? Heating and construction and building and shipping and flying and military and agriculture and pretty much everything. Why? Because oil has allowed 8 billion people to be on the planet and to build industrial civilization to the point at which 8 billion people can be fed on the planet. Oil was responsible for that. You can't take that away. There's no way to take that away. Even oil is used to make the green energy. So it's not green. You need the oil to make the green energy, and the green energy needs to be replaced every couple of years. Or in the case of nuclear, it takes a lot of carbon to make those plants. And then you have to maintain them for, years, decades, 60 years or something like that. And you don't know where to put the fuel rods yet. So it's just like there's no, super smart people with really dumb answers. I love it. It's just making the world a better place. Cheers. Yeah. It's just it's you don't have to really be all that intelligent to kind of look forward on a timeline and see like how things might or might not work out, right? It's not that hard. It's not that hard. But, when you're really invested in the system that gave you your degree or gives you your money or gives you a nice place to live, well, then all of a sudden it gets a little more complicated to think about these things. Well, let's see. I just assume everything's going to continue the way it is because everything's great. All right. You're in live chat, just can't use certain words. Well, yeah. Yeah. Okay, it's getting late already. Biden is nominating John Podesta to replace John Kerry. Smart. Going back to the article at the beginning of the show, at this point, Trump is better for the climate. I mean, come on. If the Biden administration is going to seriously nominate John Podesta, like as if that is a good move, they are clueless as to what this looks like to people. I mean, you have to be absolutely brain dead if you don't understand what this means to people, the way this will end up working against you. Climate teacher John Jay says, my ecology professor from the 70s said this, so now you have to have clean green electric bulldozers. So what? They're still bulldozers. Exactly. Yep. And so we're going to talk about this, and we're already at 9:42. So sorry to do this to you YouTubers, but we're going to switch over to Rockfin kind of early today. Just because we need to have full freedom of speech, and that seems to be the only place at the moment. So please, YouTubers, if you're watching now and you want to watch the rest of the show, please jump over to Rockfin. Thanks for signing on today, and we'll see you YouTubers. We'll see you tomorrow at 9. Before I go, really good way. Oh, I wanted to thank Obsolete Optics for the very generous donation on PayPal. Thanks, man. And I think my seller's fee was like $3 or something. You were asking me a question on there about the seller's fee. I think it was like $3. All right. So the best ways to support the show. buymeacoffee.com/Black Bear News, Cash App at Red Llama Music, Venmo at Kevin Sandblum, PayPal.me/Kevin Sandblum. You can Zelle me at kevinsandblum@protonmail.com. You can find all these links below the video. YouTubers, we'll see you tomorrow. We're going to go over to Rockfin.